Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meathook Jim here, the Wrestle Horror Podcast. With me, as always, my co-host Donnie Hoover in his car right now.
Yeah, I'm out at the training center tonight. I say, you got me on an off night. I'm not down in the studio with Pennywise.
And joining us on this episode is a good friend of mine. He's worked with me in Mall and other places. I am, of course, talking about Brett Ryan, also known as Bludzo T. Clown. Brett, my friend, how are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Thank you very much for having me.
It's our pleasure. You know, you're a wrestling fan. You love horror. So here we are at WrestleHorror, right?
Guilty as charged.
So let's go back to the beginning, Brett. Let's talk about how Bludzo came to be.
Well, when I first started working on, so this part goes back to 1994. At that time, just as a horror fan, big, Jason Voorhees fan, it's like, that's the role I want to do. That's the role I want to do. You're not quite the right size for that. Not quite the right build for that. All right, fine. All right, well, maybe this. I need to be just a tad taller for that. And then the first time I'd ever seen any kind of a, crazy psycho clown scene was actually at this place. And oddly enough, when I first saw it, it was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. There's nothing even remotely scary about this. And then I got a chance to see it in action, see some of the people who come through, and it's like, all right, I think given the opportunity, I can make something out of this. So skip ahead a couple of years, that opportunity did present itself. And so I kind of blatantly ripped off two of my rock idols, Alice Cooper and Kiss, with some of the makeup and blood and such. And the rest, as they say, is history.
I didn't see you in the beginning, but I do remember our time at the Denton Schoolhouse and definitely with Mall. I've always been one, I think, and don't take this the wrong way, but I think clowns have been overdone.
They really have.
But however, you are unique in yourself in the way you present your clown, because it's not the typical haunt clown. You've got a niche that transcends that. And I say that in the truest sense of the form because you're downright damn scary.
Well, thank you.
And as a matter of fact, I was mentioning to Donnie that time we were at Indy Screen Park and you put that girl in the hospital.
Yep. Crowning achievement that night.
Sorry, I missed that one.
I'm sure she's sorry she was there.
And the beauty of it is you did not lay a finger on her.
Nope. Right place, right time.
Exactly. She was all full of herself, turned around, and you were there.
Fell like a ton of bricks.
The thing was, I had to keep pushing you back. Right? Go away.
That's the thing with a lot of us. Once we're like sharks. Once we realize we got something wounded, now we're going to circle and try and come in for the kill.
Blood in the water, man. Blood in the water. I mean, I would have been happy to let you keep going if the paramedics weren't there with a stretcher.
All right, it might be frowned upon now. We should probably stop.
But, for those of you that are watching this video right now, if I move over some, you can see a picture of Brett here that was a professional photo shoot we did in Columbus a few years back. And I can't say enough about how scary this man is. As a clown, he commits 100%, 150% to the character. I've never seen you break character at all when you're in that makeup.
Once it's on, it's on. That's just the way it goes. I think that's the way a lot of us were kind of conditioned, I guess, when we started out as actors with our own, creating our own characters and finding our own, voices, so to speak. They kind of had us at under no circumstances do you break character, because even in cases where there's an emergency, you can follow protocol and do the right things and help people and such, while still technically staying in character. So.
Donnie, do you have any questions for Brett?
Yeah, I was. We haven't really touched on like differentiating characters and types of characters. So as a clown, well, in your opinion and with your character, what do you incorporate and use that works for you that makes your clown so scary?
That's a very fantastic question. A lot of it has to do, or for me at least, is the approach has been, especially once we got into a position where we could do a lot of the queue line acting and, being able to have people kind of see us, from a distance and come closer. I don't know if it necessarily speaks anything about the character itself, other than how that character is played, is when you kind of scope and you see that they keep double checking to see where you are. Okay, and you kind of hone in and you can play with that a little bit. So there's a lot of really humor involved with it because you're kind of toying with them. So while you're scaring the daylights out of these people, the people around it are laughing hysterically because they realize what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's borrowing elements from a lot of the things that I've grown up to enjoy. Like I said, the hard rock stuff, Alice Cooper, etc., who I've certainly inspired the look. And the attitude is more of a almost take kind of a sick stand-up comic / kind of a carnival barker approach to it. And so I don't know if I'm starting to ramble. I don't know if any of this is answering your question at all. There's a whole lot of different elements, and a lot of it is also situational. Like in the queue lines, you can do a certain thing, whereas if you're in a stationary position, a stationary scene, well, now it's trying to find that way to kind of blend into your environment, the element of surprise, catch them where they least expect you to. So it's nice to be able to I guess adapt, when playing that role, to adapt it to fit all sorts of different situations. So.
Right. Now, do you think that people get more afraid of your antics and your character and what you say and do, or the actual makeup with the bloody mouth or whatever?
I think it's the makeup and the bloody mouth, and especially when I have the contact lens too. But I think this is just the look more over than anything, because half the time I don't even have to say a word. I just get close enough to where they can see me and just grin at them, and they lose their stuff. So
they just freak out. Nice.
Well, I've got to say, Brett was mentioning how people, if he targets one person, the other people around are laughing. And I've actually got video of this from a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago. I put a GoPro on him.
Yep.
And,
nice.
And he was going through the queue line for one of the outdoor attractions at Indy Scream Park. And he targeted this one guy, and this one guy didn't want anything to do with him. And he was dogging him left and right through this queue line, and it's all from his perspective. It was a shoulder mount, and it's all Brett's perspective of what's going on here, and it's just hilarious. This guy did not want anything to do with you.
Nice.
And you could hear the crowd around just laughing their asses off. And it's gold, and I've got that video someplace. I'm gonna have to dig it up again.
That was a good night.
It's so much fun, especially with the queue line work. Brett and I have done queue line work for years now, and it's one thing to work in the house, but you're kind of pigeonholed into a certain routine. And there's not really a lot of room for improvisation. Whereas queue line, you've got this big playground where you can do whatever you want, basically obviously within guidelines. But yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, that's what scares people. I mean, instead of being seen for 3 to 5 seconds at the max, you can be in somebody's face for half an hour.
Yeah.
So, Brett, I know that you've had a storied history, and where exactly did you start haunting?
Started out, excuse me. at Forest Fair Mall, back when that was the WEBN haunted house. It was on, I don't remember which department store it overtook, but it was on the lower level. And I was there from 94 to 95. And then 96 was a year off for me. They were done there, and they'd actually moved at that point to where the Dent Schoolhouse is now. And so 96 was off, and so I didn't work anywhere. And then also at the same time that they arrived there, a haunt by the name of Nightmare on Glenway had popped up, and that's where I met a lot of the people that many of which I still associate with to this day. And 1997 was where I started with them, and that is, of course, the year that the character was. They had this whole beautiful, beautiful maze that was illuminated by nothing more than a single red beacon light, slow moving. They said, "Here's what you are. This is where you can do your clown stuff. The makeup designs, the costume designs. That's all you. Go in, have fun." That's all I needed to hear.
I wish it was still that way in some haunts, but be that as it may, when did you land at the Dent Schoolhouse?
That I didn't land with them until 2006, which I believe was the year they took it over from the Boy Scouts and such who used to run it. Prior to that, it was the Nightmare on Glenway shut down, and the same crew, the same owners, operators, etc., moved up to Mason, this old dilapidated miniature golf course that the whole property was turned into an part indoor, part outdoor haunt, and that was Nightmare Estates. And then once everything wrapped up with there, and the 1 year we did at the beach, 2005, much like 96, there was a year where just nothing happening. And then once the word got out that they were taking that over there and wanted people in, that's when I started with them. And at the time, similar case, they were, at least at that point, aware of the character. The character was established, so they basically said, here's where you're going to be, run wild, So
It's you've had such a storied history, and like you said, you met a lot of people that you associate with today.
Oh, yeah.
One person in particular is Dan Leopold.
Yes.
Which you're in a band with him, if I'm not mistaken.
That is absolutely correct. West Side Rhythm Section. He's our harmonica / sound guy, and kind of gets us in the right direction as far as song ideas and such. So he plays a bunch of different roles in that. But yeah, that's finally off the ground after years of trying to get it rolling. So yeah, that's a thing now.
I've watched you when I was at Dent, and then afterwards, after you had left, and then we acquired you with Mall. You've done nothing short of impress me in the whole time I've known you.
Thank you.
You've, quite frankly, I'm embarrassed that you never got the belt, but you should have.
Well, it's oddly enough for me, because, using the wrestling references, two of my all-time favorites, Ric Flair, which you well know, and above him was Roddy Piper.
Right.
And I think I think some of his snarky mannerisms, I probably piggybacked off a little bit in the act as well. But I think, in a sense, in much the same way he never got that in WWF years ago, I think that works out well. It worked out that way. Didn't get it, but it's probably for the best. It almost worked out better.
And you and I actually met Ric Flair together.
Yes, we did.
Nice.
And in my studio here, to my left, is the picture that Ric Flair signed for me.
Nice.
And in my office downstairs, I've got the picture of you, me, Mikey, and Christian.
Yep.
Around Ric Flair, which was just, that was a bucket list thing for me. I don't know about you, but
it was. And that same picture of the four of us, well, I guess five of us, kind of Rick. Yeah. We have that up next to my my desk for work. So yeah.
So let's shift. Donnie, you have any more questions before I shift the rest?
Yeah, I was just curious to know if Bludzo was the only character he had, or do you have a different character?
I had ideas for two other characters, one of which was kind of a, I don't want to necessarily say it, more or less an inmate of sorts, but face was going to be scored up and burned. I had a couple of people chomping at the bit, like, "Oh, I have this great burn design. We're going to do it." And then that just kind of kept getting pushed back. And then there was another one I had planned that was going to be this kind of a basically demonically possessed creature, which I haven't given up on yet. But because I'm going to need something once I retire the Bludzo character, because boy, physically that's just getting harder and harder to pull off.
I feel you.
There are other ones, nothing finalized, but there are a couple other ones that I have that are in kind of developmental.
Nice. And every time we talk to somebody, we try to get a gold nugget out of them to help other haunters out there. And for haunters that want to do like a clown character that don't know where to research and all that, what would be your suggestions on what they could research and how they could learn to create their own clown character without being like a stereotypical clown?
I definitely would say stay away from the movies, stay away from the things like It or whatever, because you're going to fall right into that same route that everyone's gone. I mean, I've seen so many people that seem like they're kind of a spinoff of either Pennywise or the Joker. So it's like, stay away from the movies. Design wise, I mean, I think certainly what I did was had kind of an idea in mind, design that. And it's strange because it seems like when you borrow some of your other influences that you wouldn't even think have, a thing to do with playing that kind of a character. But say, for instance, it's just the type of music you're into. You can kind of take elements of that and work it into maybe your look, work it into some of your attitude. And as far as just the overall delivery, I would say, I mean, yeah, if you want to go for the boisterous, laughing, your whole act is just you laughing, maniacally. That's great. That's fine and well, but it also gets old fast. So yeah, you can do that, but try to kind of teach yourself how to read people, read what their body language is, read their responses, and you can actually add so much depth to playing, even just that clown character, because already they're looking at you, and a lot of people just don't seeing what you're dressed up like. They're already not happy.
Did 2020 take its toll on your fitness? Well, body slam the pandemic and get back in shape with WrestleFit. This innovative program combines all the fitness regimens you'll need to reach your goals. The WrestleFit workout will bring strength training, cardio, and the world of professional wrestling together in a fun, new, and exciting way. Have yourself a blast working out with dumbbells, kettlebells, slam balls, ropes, tires, and an 18-foot full-size wrestling ring. The WrestleFit workout isn't just for pro wrestlers. The WrestleFit workout is for everybody. At the Now Training Center, you can pursue your fitness goals and learn how to train like a professional wrestler without all the bumps, bruises, and slams with the WrestleFit workout. Go to www.newohiowrestling.com/training for more information, or stop by the Now Training Center at 625 Eastgate Parkway, Blacklick, Ohio, 43004, Unit 6137.
So learn how to read them, learn how to kind of get inside their head a little bit. If you can make that more of a mental thing than a jump scare thing, oh my God, that is so much better than anything. Any, jump scare that they're going to have in there, any pop up, this, that, and the other. If they're walking away just feeling so ridiculously uneasy at how you make them feel, so I would say definitely the key is try to get a knack for kind of reading people.
It was funny that you mentioned that about getting inside somebody's head, because on our current episode, which just aired today, we talked to a woman down in Fayetteville, Arkansas, that runs Banshee Manor, which, if you haven't, you need to check it out, at least on Facebook or whatnot. It's a Scottish haunt.
Really?
And everybody speaks with a Scotch accent.
Nice.
But she was all about the mental game, not the jump scare, the mental game.
Exactly.
So check that out. Look at that episode's actually aired today. So check it out and listen to Jonna because she's got some great ideas. But I was thinking about this, and I was watching a show a few years back, and there was a show that had clowns with chainsaws.
Right.
Now, I'm the type of person I think chainsaws are overdone.
Way overdone.
But I bought a chainsaw for home not too long ago.
Mhm.
That's battery powered. You don't have to sit there and go, damn, it's not going to start and scare the people. I just pull the trigger and it's going.
Nice.
I mean, and just think about that. Bludzo wandering around with his chainsaw, all of a sudden it fires up immediately every fucking time.
I'll have to take that in consideration for the final outing with him next year.
Some food for thought. I mean, just because you don't have to struggle with the gas, the oil,
That's true.
pull the trigger, man. That's all you got. And it's just as strong as a gas powered chainsaw. That's the thing.
Right.
But let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about pro wrestling. I mean, I know you're a fan, and we've discussed that earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Roddy Piper, Ric Flair. What got you started in pro wrestling? What dragged you into the spectacle that sports entertainment is?
Well, I think it started off kind of as it was actually a bonding thing for me and my grandfather. Saturday nights when I would be staying over there, the late, all pro wrestling was like, that was the thing. And I got introduced to it through him. And of course, when you're a kid, you think this, oh my God, this is all real. This is amazing. So, and which I think I've kind of, that might be why I took a liking to folks like Flair and Piper. He always had a knack for the bad guys, the villains always just, the heels always seem to have just much more character, in a lot of cases. So following that, I was like, you know what, I think he's onto something here. I kind of like them too. So, but it was and it was a lot of that. The characters themselves, they made it so interesting. They made you want to watch it. They made you not want to miss it. And I love what they get people so riled up. It's like, I can't wait to see this guy just get the hell beat out of him. So it roped you in and made you invested. I love that then. And that's when I see it happen, see it more with the indie stuff for sure. When they're able to do that, still it's like, see, this is what made me love this. This is what I always found enjoyable about it. So when people still get that, they still do that. It's just awesome.
So, in the veil of kayfabe was kind of cracked open.
Right.
Did that change the way you looked at pro wrestling?
Not really. I still enjoyed it. I mean, at the end of the day, you had guys that were still just, spectacular athletes. I mean, you can't dispute that. So I could still certainly appreciate it. And even though you knew that, okay, this guy's not really, this major jerk in real life, or this guy's not really a dead man, but it's what they still applied to it, what they still put in to making that character. Even though the general public, they knew what the scoop was, it's still something to appreciate. And again, you can't dispute some of the, not only the athleticism, but some of the just hell these people put their bodies through for the purposes of, for the love of what they do for the entertainment back. And a lot of them, they just, man, they gave it everything. So
they
and still do.
And Donnie gave it his everything when he was a pro wrestler.
Oh yeah, that's why my career was so short. I did all the stupid stuff.
Oh, put some mileage on there, huh?
Oh yeah.
But it's funny because you've been to FGW.
Yeah.
And Chris still gets indignant when something doesn't go the way she wants it to. And I just looked at her and said, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
But you know,
Don't
she
tell her that. Just let her enjoy the moment,
right.
or let her be pissed at the moment. I like seeing her pissed off.
It's pissed. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, honey, that's the way it was written. I don't care. It's supposed to happen this way. We watched just this past week, and they had the first FGW show that was full capacity,
Nice.
and Cody Hawk lost the FGW title to the guiding light, Matthew Taylor, in a hell of a match. It ran a good 30, 45 minutes.
Nice.
And I mean, they beat the hell out of each other. And it was worth, I mean, the admission price for just that match was worth it. But you know, she's like, well, Cody lost. And I said, that's what he was supposed to do. But she still wasn't happy about it. And I appreciate the fact that she still, you know, buys into all that. And I love why I know the inner workings of wrestling now, thanks to Donnie and things like that. I don't care. I still love watching the show.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I love the storytelling.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do. You know, horror movies ain't real, but you still go in looking for a good scare and getting scared of the horror movie.
Exactly.
Same thing.
And some of the stories these guys write are great, especially two wrestlers that are going. They're doing a program that runs months,
Mm-hmm.
and it finally culminates. And it's like either you like it or you don't like it, depending on who you're rooting for. But it's the story that's being told
Mm-hmm.
in the end. And I can't wait to see what kind of stories we're going to do at New Ohio Wrestling Center.
Oh yeah, we're gonna come up with some good ones, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So being that the pandemic hit and we were off for almost 2 years, it's kind of like a fresh restart. We pretty much do whatever we want.
True.
And Brett, I don't know if you, I know Donnie mentioned it, but New Ohio Wrestling has a training center
Yeah.
up in Black Lake, Ohio, which is just outside of Columbus.
Okay.
Got the ring set up, and we're going to start doing shows on the 27th on Sundays, once a month.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Limited capacity right now, but
Well,
50 tickets, Donnie?
Yeah, we're just gonna do 50 for now to see how it is.
I just saw Onyx walk by.
Yeah.
you're a large man that just walked outside your window.
I said, I don't know if I can turn my screen around here.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a pretty big feller.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he's my buddy. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
No, I don't know that I want to be on his bad side.
Right.
So have you gotten Savannah any more interested in wrestling?
A little. I know she's gone to a couple shows when she's with her cousins and such. So she's taking a liking to it more.
Okay.
I know we want to get out. I haven't been to her and I together. Rather, haven't been one since we were up at that up at the one where you made your ring announcer debut. So, but I definitely want to get back out. It's seems like every time it's like, oh, there's an opportunity. Like, A, I don't have her. Or B, we got somewhere else we have to be or something. But I definitely want to get back out. I love it. I love because again, it was some of the stuff I'd been seeing on TV. It's not really worth spending the time watching. Other than AEW, I'll give them some. I'll give them some love. They at least have done some things. Where like, all right, that's a little more akin to what I remember. But WWE, I've washed my hands of them a long time ago. But so it's nice to see something, fresh like that, like what we saw up there. So that's what I want to get to see.
Impact is doing some good stuff too.
Are they? Okay. See, I haven't watched them in a while.
They're really up to game, and they've got a partnership with AEW.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kenny Omega is actually the Impact World Champion.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
and the AEW World Champion. But it's, now that things are opened up again, I think things are going to get really interesting in the pro wrestling world because, even the big companies have been running with zero to limited capacity. And now everything opening up, the crowds are going to be back. There's going to be more energy. There's going to be more intense matches because they've got somebody to work with.
Something to play off of, right?
Right. Yeah, as opposed to piped in sounds.
Right.
And that energy is going to be infectious to the wrestlers. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be really fun, and wrestling is just going to explode now that things have opened up. I think it's going to be a new renaissance to a degree.
Yeah,
that's good. That's real good.
Especially after WWE screwed up and released the wrong people.
Well, their loss will be other organizations' gains. So
exactly,
they can keep screwing up. That's good. Keep doing what you're doing over there, Vince.
So, Brett, Donnie, do you have any more questions for Brett before we give him the question?
No, we can get right into it. I'm interested to see what he comes up with here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we asked this question to everybody we talked to. There's no right or wrong answer. And the question is, you are the main serial killer in your own horror film. What is your go-to kill?
Oh, wow. Go-to kill in my own horror film. Probably tearing their throat out with my teeth.
Nice.
Okay.
Kind of fits the bloody motif of my character, I think.
There you go.
We've asked this question of a lot of people, and no one's ever given us a duplicate answer.
Nope, not yet.
That's
Still on
good.
the street.
In the high 90s, and there's never been a duplicate answer. That's impressive.
Well, we didn't start asking the question until about halfway through. It was like 50 episodes in, and then we started, but still, it's like
that's still pretty impressive.
It makes you think about how some of these people actually think.
right.
Yeah,
Well, heck,
Also true.
yeah, Jonna, when we asked her, she said she would hit them in the head with a frying pan and then take their brains out and fry them up and eat them.
That's a new one.
Right.
Not just a frying pan, a cast iron skillet.
Or yeah, cast iron skillet, right.
It's got nice and specific with that one.
Yeah. I mean, I was all right with the frying pan or the cast iron skillet, which talk about cooking them up and eat them like Miss Kale and Duck Dynasty. Then I was just like, wow.
And have you seen the movie Terrifier, Brett?
I have not.
You need to.
Okay.
We had the main killer in that one on our show. His name is David Howard Thornton. He plays Art the Clown.
Oh, okay.
And there is a very unique kill scene towards the end. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch it. But
Well, it has my curiosity.
when you see it, you will understand.
Okay. It's called Terrifier?
Terrifier. Yep. Terrifier 2 comes out in October, I think it is.
Yeah, Art the Clown.
And, it's supposed to be even gorier and better than the first one, from what I'm hearing.
Nice.
Definitely watch it. He's a clown, for starters.
That's definitely in my wheelhouse.
And it might even give you some ideas.
All right.
That's true. I'm trying to go out with a pretty solid bang next year, so I'm trying to load up on some new tricks.
So do you have any social media where people can find out more about you or about Bludzo out there?
I know I still have the Bloods of the Clown Facebook page, which is hasn't been updated in quite some time, but I know there should be at least a little bit on the history out there and a whole slathering of pictures from over the years, many of which when I was a much skinnier lad. But as far as the character goes, I think that's about it.
Okay. So, with that being said, Donnie, any last words?
No, just appreciate you coming on and talking with us and giving us your insight on the clown version of haunting.
Well, I'm happy to help, of course, and I certainly appreciate the invite.
I am Meathook Jim for Donnie Hoover and our special guest, Brett Ryan, Bludzo T Clown. Thank you for listening to the WrestleHorror podcast, and we will catch you on the next episode.
See you guys.